For those who play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I just killed 13 mercenaries. 13 mercenaries in a row. All these mercenaries arrived at me at the same time. I somehow lowered that. Though that was full, I somehow lowered that by killing 13. All at the same time, basically. They arrived, all 13 of these mercenaries arrived at the same exact time. I was bombarded. I couldn't run. I was like, well, I'm gonna be forced to fight. I was so surprised, like, all of them, like, some, like, were, like, they came from, like, each side, and I was like, the fuck are the odds? All 13 of these mercenaries came at the same time and bombarded me. And here's the thing. I only used 2 abilities. Out of all the abilities I have, I used only 2. I didn't even heal. I used this one, and I used this one, Shield Break, and then this one that gives you Adrenaline. And, like, you know that thing where you, click, your triggers or whatever? I play on Xbox. Where you click these 2 triggers right here to activate that one thing that does, like, the overpower attacks. Here, I'm gonna waste some Adrenaline for this. But, you go... that thing. That's the only things I were using, and I was doing normal and heavy attacks. And here, let me pull out... I'm only level 52, level 54, remind you that. Here, let me pull out what my build is. So, this isn't really part of my build, I just equipped that because it was giving me extra damage. I got the Dagger of Kratos with those settings on them, or engravings. I got the Hades bow, basic arrows become fire arrows. And so actually, I did the basic arrow become poison arrow on it too, because when you combine those two, it glitches out and it'll only show the poison arrow, but it gives you extra, like, it glitches the game and gives it, like, an extra damage percentage. So I'm calling this my Kratos build because I was inspiring the shit after Kratos, basically. So, I do different styles. So, I went with these pieces. So, here, we got Northern Traveler stuff. This one I didn't put an engraving on because I meant to do that. But it gives you minus 50 cooldown on the duration for the Battery of Ares on a kill. So I did that one because with that ability, it's like, since it does that, you can, like, get extra damage and stuff with that. Alright. Then I got the Armor of Rebellion, which I got from that one armor set. Gives you 100 crit damage with warrior abilities. And I put 2% damage resorted as health. That's why I also did, and it buffs your health up there too. And buffs warrior damage. That's why I wasn't healing, because I already get a very small percentage of health every time I hit a person. Which I hit pretty darn quick. Now I got the Northern Traveler's Waist, which is another piece of Northern Traveler. I put that engraving. I got the Warrior's Restraints with minus 15 for the thing. That way it lowers basically even more. So it's like an almost instant regen for the cooldown. Oops. And for the boots, I got the that one. And I put all arrows pierce shields. But basically that's that build. And that's like the damage it shows, but you do a whole lot more warrior damage because with this thing it actually glitches the system or whatever. It glitches that and it gives you more damage than what you see. And there's that armor. The armor there isn't exactly true either. It glitches that too. But the health, I think the health is the right percentage. It might be, I don't know. But also what I did over here is you go to this little space over here. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. Alright, so you go to that. You click on it. And you go over here. You get a warrior. What I actually did was I put on the full warrior damage. That way you can get like the maximum of it, really. These actually, certain ones of these come in really in handy. On some of my other like saved things of different parts, I have builds where I don't even use any of the abilities. I just go to these parts, and what I do with these parts is I actually I do like all the health type ones. Like I'd go over to this one health on successful parry, and I go in on regular health, total armor, melee resistance. I do all those. Basically, so on certain other ones, oh, and damage restored as health. That one helps out so much. Health restored with overpower abilities. So basically if you don't get any abilities and you just do those, you can hit people and still have health. Really, if you want to have like some abilities, if like you have enough ability of points to get abilities and max out those things, that's like absolutely wonderful, because then you'll become completely invincible. Like you'll still be able to take damage, but you're never gonna die. So there you go on that. One thing I do recommend, if you're ever gonna use like the abilities, sorry I have these dudes. So in my opinion, the strongest warrior you can use out of all of them is obviously going to be the Demos or whatever, which, because this dude is like godly or whatever, he's not the strongest. Like, I mean, I know I just said that, but he's actually, or she, depending on which side you choose for it, not the strongest whatsoever. There's others that are like way stronger, freaking awesome, but the reason why I like this one, to use this one, is because I actually use this one more of as like a distraction, because there's certain abilities I like it when she uses, or whatever, or he uses, depending on which one you get, because it knocks them down mid-fight, so you can actually get a lot of things, a lot of attacks in. So I do like, so me personally, so see this dude right there. I very much recommend going and finding this dude, or the legendary version to this dude. Well, technically, really. Because if you go out and do that, the thing is, that is basically, you just gave yourself a free Kratos. Like a free Kratos partner. I mean, it looks like Kratos, sort of. It sort of looks like Kratos. But if you find the legendary, it doesn't have the same name. But if it looks like that, and it's the legendary version, use it. That is practically Kratos in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Also, basically, so I make I like going for like kratos style stuff. Actually, I have a few videos where I quite literally only punched people. I went into like multiple different wars and only punched people. Didn't swing a sword, stab them with a spear, nothing. No axe, no heavy blunt weapons, no light weapons. Just punched people and won the war. I literally picked that war clean. There was only like 20 warriors left when we won. And most people can't even get to that. Most people can't leave like 20 warriors. What I did, just punching people. Now, one thing I do, so it's not on this version, right now, but, there's specific engravings later in the DLCs. If you get the DLCs, there's engravings you can get from specific other weapons that you can put on other weapons, which come in really handy. Which is, one is melee attack damage applies to nearby enemies. That's one, which, say there's multiple enemies like near you, and if you're hitting one dude, you're dealing damage, that same amount of damage to the other enemies around you. There's the same exact one, but it does fire damage, and it does, like, poison damage. There's one for that, too. And knockdown for that, too. So, what's really, really good about that is that actually turns you into a god, basically. You're already a god freaking Hercules simulator in this game. Why not make it even more overpowered by getting the DLC and finding those? Now, I do have a exclusive item. I have 2 exclusive items. They are exclusives, but they're technically not exclusives, sort of. Which are the lightning blade. It's the lightning sword and the lightning spear. Over there. You got those, there was a certain period of time you had to, buy a Helix credit pack to get that. And I really wanted it, so I did that, because Loki looks cool. Now, one thing about this is, they're really, really great weapons, but they can also be really bad weapons, depending on what engravings you choose, and, depending on what level you have them at. Sometimes they'll just do that, which really sucks, and it's on the level correct enough, basically. Well, I'll keep you guys up, and see you next time on Mr. Clicks Lupo YouTube channel. Subscribe and give the video a little bit of a like.